Here I am. Okay, it's 10:05. We are ready to start. We have many guests today connected. So, as I was saying, a quick introduction. I'm Jacopo Kelly, chef for ICE Team 1927. I'm speaking from our Gelatineo, the school that we have in Bologna, Italy, our headquarters. So here in the back, you see part of our laboratory, in the laboratory of our school. And as I was saying, the topic today is going to be Stargel and Easymix. So 2 hour entry-level machines. They are branded ProMag, and ProMag is a brand we use, as I just said, for our entry-level machines. So machines easy to use, reliable, and ready to produce a huge amount of gelato. So we will see both of them in detail, the pasteurizer that I have here next to me in this moment, and also the batch freezer that is next to it. We will start obviously from the pasteurizer, but before seeing the pasteurizer, I just want to make a quick introduction about why we have these 2 machines together, especially for the people that maybe are new in the business of gelato making. You have to know that to make gelato, we need to make basically 2 processes. The most important one are pasteurization and then batch freezing. Pasteurization is to prepare the gelato mix, the liquid gelato mix, and to combine milk, sugar, cream, stabilizers, milking powder, and all the ingredients that we need to use in a gelato recipe. Batch freezing is the freezing process. That it is called batch freezing because actually it's not just freezing, it is a combination of mixing and freezing. So inside our batch freezer, we put our liquid mix that was previously pasteurized, and then we have in about 8-10 minutes our gelato ready, frozen, whipped, and technically creamy and with a perfect texture. So pasteurization is the first step. Back in the days, pasteurization was used in order to create a mix that was safe. We were using raw milk, fresh eggs, a lot of ingredients that need to be pasteurized to be used and to be sure that we are offering a safe product. Today, that problem is not as big as it was because in most of the cases we are using pasteurized milk, pasteurized eggs, and all our ingredients are usually quite safe. But we are still pasteurizing because of many reasons. The main one are the fact that, first of all, we need to, as I was saying, mix some ingredients, liquid ingredients and dry ingredients. And the best way to mix them perfectly is for sure to warm them up. So if we need to even just melt some sugar in a glass of water, if the water is warm, it's much better. So in this situation, we are pasteurizing in order to give the chance to our ingredients to be perfectly melted. The second reason why we are doing this is because obviously the taste, once that everything is mixed, warmed up, and cooled down again, gets better. Consider that the best process when we pasteurize is to cook the mix. We will see now at which temperature, but then also rest that mix overnight inside the pasteurizer, or at least for 4-6 hours. So that time that is called aging, it's the moment in which the flavor and the texture, they get better as well. Last but not least, we also need to remember that inside our gelato mixes, we have some stabilizers. And most of the stabilizers need to be warmed up to work perfectly. The most common example that I can make is when we make a panna cotta. Panna cotta, it's very simple dessert, and we need to warm up the panna cotta in order to melt the gelatin and jellify the whole cream. Perfect. With gelato making, we are not using gelatin, we are using other stabilizers, but they are anyway thickeners and jellifiers, so the concept is the same. And in most of the cases, if we warm them up, the final result is much, much better. Another thing to remember, always connected to the stabilizers and the emulsifiers, is that actually inside our gelato mix, we have a huge amount of water, about 60%, and also some fat, usually about 10% of fat, 6-10% of fat. And these two elements, they are not very good friends. They don't like to stay together. They don't mix easily. If we warm them up, the emulsion between them, so the combination between water and fat, is much, much easier and much more stable. Okay, so pasteurization is still needed for all these reasons. And usually when we pasteurize something, we have basically three options. The first and the classical pasteurization is when we reach 85 degrees. So we warm up our gelato mix, we reach 85 degrees, we wait there 1 minute, keeping the temperature, and then we cool down the gelato mix to 4 degrees. That's the classical pasteurization. We have a second option, that is the so-called high pasteurization. In that case, instead of stopping at 85, we keep going, we reach 90 degrees, we wait there just 1 second, we just need to touch the temperature, and then we go down and we go back to 4 degrees also in that situation. The third option is the low pasteurization. So instead of reaching 85 or 90 degrees, we stop earlier, we stop at 65, but in that case, we need to wait half an hour, so 30 minutes, keeping the temperature. After 30 minutes, we can cool down everything and the mix is safe. So these are the three cycles of pasteurization. They are all the same, we can say, so the final result is exactly the same, but we can decide to use one or the other depending on the ingredients that we are using. Some ingredients, they are quite delicate, so we need to use the low pasteurization to do not ruin them. I'm thinking, for example, about some kind of cheese or eggs for sure. Some other ingredients, they are quite strong, for example, cocoa powder, so we need to cook them at a higher temperature in order to mix them perfectly with the rest of the mix. Well, this process was invented by Pasteur, a guy that discovered the relation between temperature and timing. So he understood that to make something safe, we don't just need to boil it, but we can also reduce the temperature, do not reach 100 degrees, so do not ruin our product, and put in combination the temperature with the timing, then at the end we have a safe product as well. The problem of this process is that it's easy, but it takes time. And for the whole process, we always need to mix our product. We cannot just leave the mix there on the pot or in a pot on the fire and just let it go, because the risk of burning the milk is very, very high. So when we pasteurize our gelato mix, we need, yes, for sure, to warm it up, but we also need to mix. And that's the reason why, when we start talking about our machine, we have a pasteurizer. A pasteurizer is a machine that standardizes the pasteurization and makes the pasteurization automatically. So I don't need to care anymore about my mix. I just pour all the ingredients inside and I press the button to activate the pasteurization, and the pasteurization is gonna be completed automatically in the time needed. Consider that the timing obviously depends on the quantity of mix that I'm doing. What I can tell you is that when we have pasteurizers about with a capacity of 65 liters or something like that, it usually takes about 1.5 hours, something like that. For bigger pasteurizers, like 120 liters, like our Easymix 120, it takes about 2 hours. And if we go even higher, so with a bigger pasteurizer like our PSK 185, it will take about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So the more mix I have, the longer it's going to take, obviously, the process. But anyway, we don't care about it because we don't need to stay there mixing our product. We just need to press the button to start the process, and then we can go home. And that's usually what happens when we make the pasteurization. We prepare our gelato mix at the end of our working day, so maybe in the afternoon or in the evening. Then that's going to be the last thing of the day. I activate the pasteurization, I go home, I let the mix there resting, so aging overnight after the pasteurization is completed. I arrive in the morning and the mix is ready to be used. So it's really a process that it won't need a human to be completed. We just put everything inside and it's done. Here in front of us, so next to me, we have our Easymix 60 Revo. It's the last version, the latest version of Easymix. Its older brother is Easymix 60 Plus. We will see the differences between these two models. For sure, what we have in front is the most advanced one. And now, with the second camera that we have here, you should see the second camera on your screen. We're gonna see in details the components of this Easymix and how to assemble it, disassemble it, and activate it. Okay, so I will move to the second camera to show you the pasteurizer from closer. So this is the tank of our pasteurizer. Inside we have the spigots that we will place in front. So actually what you see when you open the pasteurizer is this one. It's a stainless steel tank. Here, as you can see, we have an indication about the quantity of mix that is inside in liters, so 20 liters, 30 liters, 50 liters, and so on. For the rest, the tank is completely empty. So that's a plus, in my opinion, because we have nothing to clean. We just clean the pasteurizer easily, pouring some water, using some soap, dish soap, normal dish soap, and everything is going to be done very quickly and easily. The only piece that we have inside is the beater. This is the same beater that we have on our top pasteurizer, that is the PSK. For the one that were online yesterday, we saw the PSK yesterday. So how does it work? It's very simple. Now it's locked, so it is perfectly placed inside the machine. It cannot move. It will just move when we activate the agitation or the pasteurization. If I need to take it out, I just need to move it a few degrees on the left and then lift it up. So in this way it is unlocked and we have our beater here. We can clean it in the dishwasher. It is completely stainless steel. So actually it's very, very easy to, as you saw, disassemble it and assemble it again. To assemble it, we just place it in its spot. We find the right moment, the right spot, and then we just lock it, pressing it down a little bit and moving it a few degrees on the right in that case. So that's the way we place and disassemble the beater. The beater has got a motor that is a brushless motor, so it is able to have different speeds. We have 10 speeds available. So depending on what we need to do, the quantity of mix that we are pasteurizing, we can manually regulate the speed to speed it up or slow it down. We will see later with the buttons in front how to do it. The last thing that we need to see here on the top is the lid of the pasteurizer. It's a plastic lid, just one piece, very easy. As you can see, we have, as always, the magnet here in front. So if the lid is closed, the machine works. If we open the lid, the machine stops automatically. To take it out, it's very simple. If we want to clean it, here in the back, we just move it like that, and we take it out. We can clean it in the sink. It's plastic, so we usually suggest to do not put any plastic piece inside the dishwasher. When it's cleaned, we can just put it back, doing the same move. So we just place it inside and done. Easy. Very, very simple lid. One of my favorites, we can say, because it's super easy to clean, super easy to assemble it. Very, very easy.
That's the reason why Easymix is called Easymix. So we go in front, and here we can see the buttons, so the control panel. Here we have the shower, stainless steel shower. Very simple as always. We have the button of the shower to activate it. Okay, so when it's the light is on, the shower is working. When the shower is off, when the light is off, the shower is off. But before having a look to the other buttons, I just wanted to show you the spigot. So here we have the spigot of our pasteurizer. Super simple, because we just have this piece that we use to open and close the spigot. As you can see, it is composed by two pieces that can be disassembled very easily, like this. So we place them together in front of the spigots, and we just go inside. We close here, so we are able to enter, and now it is placed perfectly. Obviously, when it is a bit more inside, it is closed. Now it's open and the mix comes out. To take it out, same concept. I just press here the metallic button. In this way, I can take it out. Super, super simple. Okay. Now, going back to the control panel here, we have the stop button, as always in our machines. It's the red one, and it's just to stop the machine in any moment. We have the two arrows here to go up and down when we need to navigate into the menu, or we need to regulate any kind of parameter like the temperature or the speed. Then we have the speed regulation. As always, this button allows us to change the speed of the beater. If it is a gelato machine, a pasteurizer, always the same. The button, the design is always the same. We will see it later, and I'll show you how to play with it. Here we have the agitation button. So this is just to agitate the mix, or for example, the water. If we need to clean our pasteurizer, we can activate that button and the machine will move. Let's try that. So we see also how to play with speed regulation. So we just activate. Here we have the mixing function. To start the function, we press the cone and the machine now is just mixing. Here, as you can see, there is the timer. It's a countdown. It's going to mix for half an hour. The temperature, 27 degrees. And this number is the speed. So if we want to change the speed, we press the speed regulation. The two buttons are switched on now. So we can increase, as you can see, up to 10, as I said. I don't know if you also can hear the sound, but it's moving faster inside. Okay, now I slow it down. And you can see that the beater is slowing down. I hope. I don't know if from the webcam you can really see the difference, but I can tell you it's completely different. So now, for example, we are at speed 2. Okay, perfect. So we stop this function. As you saw, in this case, in the mixing button, we also have a few more functions. If we go inside and we start navigating with the arrows, we have also, for example, heating, cooling. So these two functions are to make just one single function. So it's not for pasteurizing, but it is, for example, just to heat up something or cool down something. Okay, so it's single function, manual. It is usually used mainly for cleaning purposes. So if I put some cold water, I can warm it up. But anyway, it's an option. So if you want to make one single function, not the full pasteurization cycle, you can press the mixing button, select the function, and then go. Okay, to give the OK is always the gelato button. Okay, here it asks you the quantity of the mixer. So let's go back for a second. It is, let's say, for example, eating quantity 60-40 kilos or 40-20 liters, sorry, not kilos. And then it asks, is there some mix inside? There is not a sensor level as in our PSK. So in this case, we need to confirm the fact that there is some mix. If there is not, obviously we have to stop it, like in this case. So now we just have the last button here, that is the gelato button. Obviously, the gelato button is for the gelato production, so it is for the pasteurization cycle. So if we press the gelato, we have the different cycles available that I was telling you before. So 85, classical pasteurization, 90 degrees, and 65. And then we also have the function just for aging. So let's say that if one day, by mistake or on purpose, after the pasteurization cycle, you press stop, okay? So you, by mistake, so you will have to put back the machine in the aging function. From here, you can select it, okay? So let's say that we want to pasteurize 85 degrees, classical pasteurization. As always, we give the OK with the cone. We say, as always, the quantity. So it is 60-40 liters, 40-20 plus, or 40-20. The difference between the plus and the normal is that the plus is a bit faster, okay, in terms of agitation. So it is used for thick mixes like chocolates, for example. Once that we select the quantity, as always, the machine asks, is the mix in? And we can give the OK, the confirmation with the cone, or stop it if there is not anything inside. Okay, let's go back to the front camera.
So we saw everything, let's say, about the pasteurizer. I hope everything was clear. There is nothing else specific to say. The only thing that I can add are, first, for the pasteurization cycle, it's always better to start from the liquid ingredients. So we pour the liquid ingredients inside. We wait until the mix reaches about 30-40 degrees, and then we add the powders. In this way, the powders will be melted in a few seconds, and we don't risk to burn any powder on the bottom of the tank. So liquids and then powders when everything is warm. That's the first tip. Second tip is, as I said, you don't need any specific tool to clean this machine. Just some water, dish soap, and a sponge, nothing particular. Obviously, as is always suggested to clean the pasteurizer after every cycle. So once that you empty it, you just clean it and then make another pasteurization. But as you can see, as you saw, it's very, very easy to clean. The components are like basically three: the lid, the beater, and the spigot in front. So it's super, super easy and very few pieces. Okay, so we are exactly in the middle of our webinar, 30 minutes are gone, and we are perfectly on time to move to the second machine of the day, that is Stargel. In this case, we have here in front Stargel 8. So it's not the Revo model that is available also in the case of the Stargel. That is the new model, but we have the previous model, Stargel 8. One thing about the Easymix, so the Revo, the fact that is new is because of the beater inside, that it has, as we said, that beater with the brushless motor and the 10 speeds available. The previous version, the Easymix Plus, has got a different beater and just 2 speeds available. So it has not a brushless motor, it's a motor with just 1 speed actually, but we change the rotation speed. So it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, and so it changes the way the mix is moved. So that's the main difference between Easymix Revo and Easymix Plus. There are a few more small differences, like the shower, that in the Revo is the stainless steel one, so it's better. And the fact that the Revo machine is dialogue ready. So it is ready to be equipped with dialogue. That is our remote control system for technical purposes. So if we need to, if we want to have the remote assistance from the factory or our distributor, we can equip the machine with dialogue, and the machine is ready to be equipped with that technology. Okay, so we move to the Stargel. Stargel is a batch freezer. So the main components of a batch freezer are the beater and the front door. These are the two most important ones we can say. And then obviously we have the technology in terms of motor and compressor. But for now, we will focus on the components. So the first component that we're going to see is the door. I will show you directly from the front camera. I just take this out very easily, as you saw, and this is the door. It's a plastic door, very light. That's good because actually it's very easy to move, very easy to clean, and it's a very light door. The door has got the front opening to extract the gelato with a classical oval shape. And on the top, we have a plastic lid to cover the entrance. And as always, the grid to make the machine safe. We don't want to risk to put our hands into the machine when we are making our gelato. So this is the front door, very simple, but as we said, light and easy to clean. Inside the machine, we have the beater. This is the beater. We have a stainless steel beater in this case. So it is, as we said yesterday during the multi-freeze webinar, stainless steel beaters are better because they are they are helping the mix to be frozen as well. So when we have something stainless steel, it will absorb the cold and it will help the mix to be frozen faster. In this case, we have plastic scrapers. So 3 scrapers in the case of the Stargel 8. As always, very easy to assemble and disassemble. I placed the beater like that, so it should be easier for you to see. To remove the scraper, we just need to take it up like that. To put it back, we just need to place it here. So it's very, very simple. There is this clip system that helps us to remove and put back the scraper very easily. To put the beater inside the machine, as always, we hold it from the center like that, and now we go in front of the machine and we try to enter as much parallel as possible with the cylinder. We will help the scrapers to stay inside the cylinder. The scrapers, as you can see, they move, okay, they are self-adaptive, so we need to help them to enter into the cylinder. So we stay here in the front, and if the scraper goes away, we just put it back like this, and we keep going inside. 1, 2, and 3. As always, we can help the beater to enter, moving it a little bit. Now we are inside, we just complete the operation like that. So now the beater is inside. We close the door with this handler, and now the door is closed. So very simple to assemble the beater and the door. The other components of the machine, and I move to the other camera so you can see a bit more in detail everything.
The other components are the shower here, as always. So in this case is the plastic shower with the stainless steel tube, and this is the spigot of the Easymix. Here we have the shelf. It's a fixed shelf with the plastic shelf on top, the plastic cover, the plastic tray, to help the gelato to stay isolated in terms of temperature. during the extraction. So this is the plastic door that I showed you before from the other camera. And we have the beater inside with the plastic scrapers. Here we have a big seal that can be removed, and the same operation can be done on the front door. So here, if I want to remove this door to clean it, I can just lift this up, remove this O-ring like that, okay, and then take this out. Now the door can be cleaned in the sink. As always, it's plastic, so avoid the use of a dishwasher. Then we come back here, we stay here in front, and we put it back like this, very simple. We place the O-ring back in its position, and now everything is ready to be used again. So very simple to assemble again. As I told you from the beginning, the main characteristic of the ProMag machines are that they are easy to use, easy to assemble, easy to clean. So very, very convenient from that side, in that point of view. Perfect. To have a look to the buttons, as always, in this case, we start making some gelato. So I have a mix ready. Let's move the camera a bit higher like that. Perfect. I have lemon sorbet here, ready to be frozen. So we just check that everything is closed. The front door, this door as well. We open the lid here and we place our sorbet. In this case, I'm pouring 4 kilos of sorbet. That is the minimum quantity for this machine. Remember that it's a machine without any inverter technology. So we have to use the machine at least at 50% of its capacity. Stargel 8, the number next to our machines, is always related to the maximum quantity of mix that we can put in one cycle. So in the case of the Easymix 60, it means that we have 60 liters maximum. In the case of the Stargel 8, we have 8 kilos maximum. So the minimum quantity, as a consequence of this, it's 4 or 5 kilos minimum. Okay, not less than this. Now, let's have a look to the buttons. As you can see, the buttons are very few, so nothing too complicated. We have, as always, the stop button to stop the machine. We have the shower to activate the shower. So when the light is on, the shower here works, is in pressure, and we can use it. Now I deactivate it again. As always, the arrows are used to go up and down in the menus and setting the parameters of my production cycles. Then we have this button that is used for mixing and extraction. As you see, the icona, it's double. There is the mixing and the extraction button. So now if we wanted, for example, to mix this sorbet for a while, we can press the mixer, and now we are moving, as you can see from here, the window on the door. In this case, we are working at speed 1. As you can see here, that is the countdown, mixing function, so it's quite clear what we're doing, and the countdown. If I need to use a different speed, in this case, being in just the mixing function is not possible. We will see that when we use this button to extract our gelato, we have 2 speeds available, okay? So that's possible just when we are exiting, we can say, from batch freezing cycle. So now the mixing is over. it wasn't a process that is necessary. Yeah, it was just to show you how to move the machine and use the mixing function. So the machine is back in stop, and we can use the last button, that is, as always, the gelato button. And as always, gelato means production. So we can press gelato. We select which program we need, so which product we are doing, gelato, fruit sorbet, or cremolata. Now I'll explain you the difference. In this case, we are making a sorbet. So we press sorbet and we select production. Here on the screen, we have the function in this moment that is working, that is production. And we have these two numbers, 21 and 100. These numbers are about the consistency of my gelato. Now I will explain you what I mean. Here, as you can see, the gelato is moving, the beater is beating, so the production is taking place. Let's move back to the front camera just to say a few more things about our gelato machine and how to set it.
So the thing is, first of all, as you saw, we have 3 cycles in this machine, a bit less than, for example, the multi-freeze we saw yesterday, because obviously we have less technology, as we were saying from the beginning. So we can just select which product we are doing. Is it a gelato, is it a sorbet, or is it a cremolata? Now, just to make things as much clear as possible, let's see the difference between these products. Gelato is a mix in which we have dairy products inside. So every time that I have milk, cream, skim milk powder, milk proteins, cheese, whatever is dairy inside my recipe, that's a gelato, and that's a product that needs to be batch frozen with the gelato program. On the other side, we have the sorbet. Sorbet, the definition of a sorbet is a mix dairy-free. So the classical sorbet is the fruit sorbet, like strawberry sorbet, lemon sorbet, like the one we're doing now. But for example, we could have also a chocolate sorbet, a pistachio sorbet, an almond sorbet, or whatever it is. Every time that we have a dairy-free product, we can use the sorbet program. On the same way, the classical gelato is like vanilla, chocolate, pistachio, or hazelnut. But for example, we can also have a fruit gelato. So a strawberry gelato, a mango gelato, whatever it is. So every time that we have milk inside, that's a gelato. Cremolata, on the other side, it's a similar product. It is a similar product compared to the sorbet, because it is dairy-free, but in that case, the recipe is super simple. It is just made with water, sugar, normal sugar like sucrose, and the flavor. So a cremolata in Italian is one of the versions of granita. In Italy, we have many different versions of granita, and the differences between these versions are basically the ice crystals. We have some granita with big ice crystals. We have some other granita with smaller ice crystals. Well, la cremolata is a granita with fine ice crystals. So it's very close to a sorbet. It's right in the middle between a sorbet and a granita, the classical granita with big ice crystals. The reason why we can make this product here in the machine is that even if it is a very simple product, it needs to be frozen and mixed exactly like a sorbet or a gelato. So we can use the technology of the Stargel in order to freeze our cremolata as well. After selecting the program, as you saw, we have the possibility to select the consistency, as I was saying. And on the screen, we saw before 21 on the left and 100 on the right. Perfect. The 21 on the left, that now is 26, so it's improving, it's increasing, is the consistency of my product in that moment. Consistency is a number that defines the hardness of my product. And you have to think that the smallest value is 0 when the mix is completely liquid, and the highest value is 120. So the consistency number goes from 0 to 120, and the higher is the number, the harder is going to be my gelato. That's the thing. So if I want to make a gelato that is quite compact and frozen, I can set that consistency at a higher level. Now we set the machine at 100. So the two numbers on the screen on the left, I said, is the consistency in that moment inside the cylinder. The other number, the one on the right, there was 100 and is still 100, is the set point. So the consistency that we want to reach. If I want to change that consistency, I can play with the buttons. Let's see with the front camera how to play with the consistency.
Now, as you can see, the production is going. So we have 35 as consistency in this moment, 36, and 100 is still the setting. If I want to change the setting, because I want to make a gelato that is a bit more soft or a bit more hard, I can press the cone. You see the two lights are switched on, and I can increase the number or decrease the number. For example, in this case, I think we can go to 85. This number can be changed as many times as you want in any moment of the production, at the beginning, in the middle, or almost at the end. Obviously, you cannot change it once that the process is over. So in this case, I selected now 85 because we are making a sorbet, and sorbet, they are more delicate, and the consistency, it is strictly related to the recipe that we are doing. So there are two parameters to take into consideration when we speak about the consistency. The first one is the recipe. The second one is the personal taste of the gelato chef. So if you prefer to have a gelato that is quite frozen, you can increase the consistency. If you prefer a gelato a bit more creamy, you can decrease the consistency. Now we are 64, 65. The gelato inside is getting ready. As you can maybe see now from your screens, its consistency is already quite frozen. So we are getting closer to the end. It's 72 now. I use these 30 seconds to go get my gelato cuvette in which I can put my gelato. What you're hearing now is the sound of the machine that is telling us the gelato is ready. We reached the consistency that we set. So, as you saw, I put my pozzetti under the machine on the shelf, and now I just need to extract my gelato. To start the extraction, first of all, usually I prefer to open the door in front just to check if the gelato is the right consistency, and it is. And then we press the extraction button. So here, extraction button. As you see, the machine speeds up, and here in this moment we are working at speed number 2. If I need to decrease the speed for a while, I can move, slowing it down. Now we are at speed 1, and the gelato is coming out slower. If I want to speed it up again, I just increase the speed, speed number 2, and the gelato comes out faster. So during the extraction, I have 2 speeds available. One is the production speed, so the same that was used by the machine during the production, the batch freezing cycle. The other one is the extraction speed, that is the fastest one. As you can see, the creaminess of this gelato is fantastic. Here we have a sorbet that is perfect. So thanks to the fact that we have different cycles for different products, gelato, sorbet, and cremolata, the machine regulates its parameter to do not stress and overfreeze our gelato. This is the reason why, even if it is a sorbet, so water-based, lemon, we have a super creamy texture that will be stable for hours and days. So as you see, the gelato is not coming out anymore. So it means that we are at the end of the extraction process. We can close the door here in front, stop the machine, and just check inside if there is some gelato left. As you can see, the leftovers are almost nothing. We just have a few grams of gelato here at the end, and that's it. So we have a very clean cylinder, even if we have, as we said from the beginning, a technology that is a bit more simple, but anyway, with high performances. So I put my pozzetti inside the display, but first of all, I shock freeze for a while this sorbet. As always, once that we extract our gelato, it's always better to shock freeze it for a few minutes.
I place the mix in the shock freezer, and at the same time, this is the right moment. We are almost at the end of our webinar. We are perfectly on time. We have 5 minutes left. If you have any questions or doubts or requests, this is the moment, the perfect moment to write down in the chat or in the Q&A section and ask whatever you want. I'm just checking if there are some questions. No, for now there are no questions. So if you need any information, please write down now. We are almost at the end. I just wanted to add that this machine is available also in the size 12, so 8 kilos or 12 kilos. So you have both options. And there is actually also the Stargel 5 and the Stargel 4. So different models for different sizes. The Stargel 5 is exactly like this in terms of size, but for a smaller quantity, obviously. The Stargel 4 is a countertop machine. So it's exactly like this machine, but it is half of the dimension. So it's not a self-standing machine, but you just place the machine on the counter, on a table, or whatever it is. So you can imagine like this Stargel, but like cut somewhere like here, okay? So there is not the part underneath. So different solutions for different needs, depending on how much gelato you need to produce. As I said, you cannot work with this machine with a quantity that is too small. So if you have if you plan to buy, for example, a Stargel 12, you have to know that you cannot make less than 6-7 kilos. If you know that actually maybe your needs are different, and maybe in some moments of the season you need to make a small quantity of gelato, maybe focusing on a bit smaller machine like a Stargel 8, it could be a solution, or it depends on your situation. As always, the perfect machine doesn't exist. It exists just the perfect machine for your specific situation. And if you need any information, or if you need to see different options, do not hesitate to contact us. You can write to our email, info@gelatineo.it. That's our email. We can keep in touch through all our social media. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and especially YouTube, in which we put all these videos. As I said at the beginning, this video was recorded, so there's going to be the recorded version available on YouTube very soon. We will tell you when it's available through our Telegram channel. On Telegram, we have a channel in which we give information to our premium customers. So if you want to subscribe there, it's free, obviously, but you will have some news and some previews because most of the information are given directly there. So also there, we will say when the recorded version is going to be available on YouTube. That's it. There are no questions in the Q&A section, so I hope everything was clear enough. Thanks a million for your time. For all our guests, I see there are many people from all over the world. So thanks a million. And I'll see you tomorrow if you want with, sorry, not tomorrow, next week, with the last 3 webinars. We have a webinar on P1 and P3, our soft machine. We have a webinar on BIB, so the BIB, our second soft machine, and we have a webinar on Compacta Vario Icona, so our brand new machine with touchscreen on next week online. Thanks again, and see you soon.